Yes, good afternoon and welcome once again. It's a very beautiful day out there. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie, and this is the Wake Up Show on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day out there, lots of things to do, and you have to find things to do. Do not sit still. Nothing happens if you're sitting still. You have to constantly do things, whether you go into a garden, whatever, or you plant a garden, you dig up some things. You have to get things doing, or else nothing is going to happen. So I want to say a good day. I want to say a welcome to everybody who would have been joining us on this Wake Up Guyana show on Kaieteur Radio, all across this beautiful nation of ours, and wherever else that you're joining us from. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie, and you're tuned in to 99.1, 99.5 FM here, and we coming to you live from our studio down in Charleston, Saffron Street, Charleston. And so we are gonna today the budget debates, the budget estimates. The process is continuing in the National Assembly. There, which is being kept temporarily at the Artichon Convention Center on the east coast of Demerara. And so while that is happening, they hopefully that they want to get that out of the way this week, so we could move on. 3 more months remaining in the rest of the year, and before we get into things, of course, we got a little housekeeping to do, which is that today happens to be the birthday of one of our directors, Tishana Lal. How you doing, my dear? And she's just 16 years old. I know she's going to say it's much more than that, but I believe I want to say, on behalf of the rest of the staffers in Kaieteur Radio and Kaieteur News, a good day to you, Tishana Lal. I hope that you bring cake and food and whatever else it is. Do not come to the meeting with your long hands. So we want to say much love to you and have a pleasant rest of the day as you spend it. So there's some big news coming out today. Yesterday it was the grade 6 exams results that came out. And of course, the public schools are leading the way. There seemed to be a shift from where the private schools would have been running things for a little while. But it does not matter. At the end of the day, what I want to say to you guys, it does not matter how you would have done. It's not the end of the road. It's life goes on, so there's always an opportunity to pick yourself up, dust yourself out, and let's move on. So let's give our brothers and sisters the encouragement in their young life. It's the beginning of life. It's just a little hurdle that they would have gone past there. There's a CXC, there's a whole bunch of things. It could end up at the university level, and it could go on and on. Education, the education of man, is not over until you say it's done. So we could be at 40 years old, and I've known many in the 40s. We had a former prime minister of Guyana. I think he was in his 40s or his 50s when he did a law degree. It's no other than Moses Nagamutu. So, there's many persons who would have done it very late in life. You could do it too. So it's not over. This is not where we separate the goat from the sheep or the bright boys from the young boys. It's one part, the transitionary part in life. And so today's CXC results are going to be out. I don't happen to have those details right now, but as they come, of course, you could read that in your favorite newspaper, the Kaieteur newspaper. And in a very short while, I'm going to tell you what is it that your favorite newspaper, Guyana's largest selling newspaper, has to say to the people of Guyana, what it has shared to the people of Guyana today. Because, this newspaper here is something else. They don't hold any bars. They're not affiliated to any political system or parties. And they will say what they have to say without any icing on the cake. So before that, let me tell you what a couple of things that happened that I must share with you, or probably we could come back to that in a very short while. Let's see what the Kaieteur newspaper. It's September the 22nd, 2020. My God, this month here has really, really flown. And Raj, don't you believe that this year is just flying through? I think it seems as if it's galloping to go to somewhere. I don't know where. But the Kaieteur newspaper today, front page. For the spike in COVID 19 cases could break our medical system. This is emergency medicine specialist, Dr. Box, and whenever he speaks, we have to listen because he understands what the system, emergency, and otherwise what's happening. And so he's warning about that. And we're going to come back to this as for the spike in the COVID 19 case because what we see in here is not something that is very good. In fact, we've been warning about it several months now to protect ourselves, but people don't want to hear. And you know what the old people says: when you don't hear, you're gonna feel, and you're gonna feel it in a very harsh way. And it's unfortunate that some people are gonna feel it. I'm still feeling the effects of it because when COVID hits you, it does things to your system that really makes you weak. I'm still trying to recover from that. But that is a very important story. And this is the big one in Kaieteur newspaper today because it has lots of implication. We're going to have a discussion on this. US 150 million decade-long CGIA renovation scandal. I will not accept this project. Investigations to be launched. And this is President Ali, just more than a month after he would have been sworn in. He's making it very clear that he is the president of Guyana, and he says to the Chinese contractor, this project here that you're part of, we're not going to accept it as it is. You had a fixed price contract to give me a house, to give me a car, to give me a bed. I didn't ask you to give me a shack. And so this Chinese contractor, China Harbor, delivered something that was unbelievable to the people of Guyana. We took a loan of $138 million. And then we had to find on our own as our part of the loan, because you remember when you take a loan, you have to find part of it. We had to find $12 million, and so it was a project for $150 million. And so this company here, the Chinese premier was in the Caribbean around 2010, 2011 there, just shortly before Jack Day would have ended his two-term tenure. And this is what he had to say. He was in the Caribbean. He says, "Look, we're gonna roll out some money for capital projects, for major project infrastructure projects in the Caribbean. Here, you could apply." So this Chinese company came here with a very nice, shiny-looking document which says that, "Look, you guys want to build something? Come up with a project, and we're gonna find the money. We're gonna find the contractors, and we're gonna do it." So it was decided that this project here, this is in 2011, that the project that they're going to do was the airport project. And, Guyana wanted to make the government of the day wanted to make Guyana the hub of the Caribbean or the hub of South America in terms of getting flights to Africa. At least that was said. And so here's where the story got weird. This company signed an agreement without even getting the cash, without finding out where the money is going to come from. They signed an agreement with the government. It was done all hush. Well, at least it was done in Jamaica, and then Guyana heard about it through the media here. The biggest infrastructure project we learned through the media in Jamaica. And so this happened a few days before elections. Fast forward, this would have been the fourth presidency or the fourth set of government that this project passed through. So it started with Bar Jagdeo, it went through with Donald Ramachar, then it went through with David Granger, and it's landed right on the lap of Irfan Ali at the moment. And so this company here, the president wanted to see what the status of it. Of course, he would have been briefed, but he wanted to see what it is. You remember that Irfan Ali was the minister of tourism or in charge of tourism leading up to the 2015 period. So he would have been sitting right next to the CGIA board there and having an idea what is happening. And so it is a lot of this project was being criticized heavily, and especially when we hear now that more money in addition to $150 million is being spent. So if you spend $150 million, why would you reduce the scope of work? So if you're building a house that is 32 by 64, and then you decide to make it 10 by 20. It's a big part of the work. You know what you're doing there? You're reducing the size of the work. So it means less money. So how did we go past 150 million? So many questions. What is happening right now is that government says very clearly to the Chinese company, we're not going to accept this. I presume there's some money that's been outstanding. But significantly, the president says that everybody, all the stakeholders in this particular project here, has to take the blame for it. The contractor, the supervising contractor, and of course, our representatives is there. What happened? How did you fall like this? So the contractor told the president, we had some other things to do. The president says, that is not acceptable. If we give you a fixed price contract, you're supposed to check to make sure that that's what you want to do. You signed on to it, and therefore I will not accept this. We have to fix this. And so this would have come a few days after, the Americans would have been here. You could remember the Secretary of State and no other than Mike Pompeo was here recently in Guyana last week, high profile visit, and he is making a pitch for his government. Fair enough, he's representing his government, and he's saying to the people of Guyana, you know, you could use our companies a little more. So this would have come a few days after that. Does it have any significance, any connection? We don't know. What we do know at the moment is that Guyana cannot accept that. Fully agree with the president on this, and somebody has to answer. And I agree with the president also that there should be an investigation into this project here. We, as a people of Guyana, cannot cannot accept anything. $150 million US dollars. Do you know what that money could do? That's 100 what is that? It is $30 billion, right? Is it $30 billion? I'm gonna have to check it back. But that could do so many things in here, and it could be half of a harbor bridge across the Demerara River, or some people could probably build it for that price. I don't know, but what I could tell you, it could do so many things to alleviate this temporary poverty or this situation that we have with the pandemic. So we can't accept that. And the same company here, before I move on, the same company came and they decided that somebody decided to give them the contract to build a movie town. So don't forget, they would have been given duty-free concessions with trucks and other materials to build and so on, equipment, and then other material. You could bring them in by the container load. So they went and started building the movie town. Guess what happened? The movie town is up and running. Guyana does not have an airport. The story doesn't stop there. We went straight to the Pegasus Hotel, and they have gotten the contract for that. Now we're hearing that they might have gotten some contract at the Aurora mines. We don't know yet. We're going to check that out. It's been reported as such. What we do know, what we do know is that it is unacceptable that you could walk into our country, give us a 6 for 9, and believe that we could accept it. Well, no more. I think the line has been drawn in the sand, and let's see where this goes. So I'm not going to accept this project here. The president told the Chinese contractor for the airport, the Timiri airport contract, public school boys share top places at NGSA, and so they would have gotten the 525 marks. I think it's a 530 they would have went for. And so this is an interesting story, and we're waiting on the CXC results. I think the Minister of Education is unveiling that. Every year we go through this. Have we done better? I think it's good to see that our public schools are doing a little better, and congratulations to these kids, and congratulations to all the students who would have written it. You have won because you've completed some part of your education. There's an attempt to dust yourself off and improve, and it's not the end of the world. So let's encourage our young ones. It's the only thing that we could do. Asphalt plant racket uncovered, and this is an interesting story too. It looks as if we have an asphalt plant. The government owns it, and they would have been selling. It seems as if they've been selling at half price. There's some racket there in which they're doing things. I know the Harbour Bridge would have been speaking to us this morning. It has oversight for this asphalt company, and they would have cleared the air and says, "Look, we don't know anything about this. We have our system in place, and it could be something. We're not saying anything that's not happened." But from our end, this is our system, so they have given their side of it. So we're going to continue to check on the story here. Untraceable, there's another one that you should know about. Untraceable Florida company handed $30 million for birth certificates by APNO FC. And this is Minister Geert Teixeira speaking in the National Assembly yesterday during the budget debates, the budget estimates examinations, and she's saying that there is this company with very little records of doing business all of a sudden handed a $30 million project for birth certificates. In the investigations revealed company headed by Larry London. That's strange, very strange case. It seems as if there's a couple of things I'm not sure. Teixeira says that this company, normally when you go for birth certificates and the printing of it, it's going to the local people in Guyana here, and so when you would have gone suddenly overseas, and then in addition to that, when the reporters did their calculation, you found out that one of these forms, based on what we printed for, it's $1,500. $1,500. So you could buy one of these forms for a couple $100. But here it is that we print in till some in Miami, according to what we see in here. Who knows? Maybe it could have been printed right here, and they just say that it's Miami company. We're not sure what happened here, but I think they're investigating that. Guyana's oil will give has 10% growth rate in a few years despite pandemic. Oh, so you guys got to wake up and smell the coffee again? because here it is that Guyana's oil is so important to a couple of companies, including Hess, Exxon. Exxon has dropped everything to come to Guyana because it knows it's getting cheap oil, good quality oil, and with very few heartaches. And here it is that Hess, another company which is partnering with Exxon on that Stabroek block, is saying that our growth rate is 10%. 10% is significant for any company. And so, despite this pandemic, which the World Bank says is going to erase a significant part of our growth if it continues, well, Hess is saying, Hess is a partner in that oil company, in that oil venture there at Stabroek. They're saying that we are going to see 10% growth. So it means that our authorities here have to be paying close attention to what these companies are saying. When you hit the negotiation table and these people tell you what you'll be earning, it gives you an idea what you should be asking for. It gives you an edge. So pay attention, learn. We're in school at the moment. I'm learning. You should learn too. And we can't sit down and sit on our hands and not do anything. We have an opportunity to get things right here. Ramsden bypass board to approve gun license. This is Robertson Ben. And so we have to pay attention to that. These are things that are not good. There's systems and procedures, but it has to be followed. Uh, so we continue. Guyanese man who migrated to US 3 years ago killed at bus stop and the car slammed into him. Let me tell you, there's a major story that we should pay attention to. A couple of days back over the weekend on Sunday, Kaieteur News broke with a very important story. 120 inmates of the Luzignan prison tested positive. Today, or yesterday, within the last few hours, it was confirmed in the National Assembly by the Ministry of Health and by some others officials. I think Mr. Robertson Ben as Minister of Home Affairs, that it is indeed true. It's 100 and something inmates tested positive, and when you have a lockdown situation, inmates are being bar. This is a situation where it is deeply worrying. We want to know if you have an entire prison that is COVID-19 positive, then you have a serious situation. More than 100 of these inmates tested positive would have been taken to an isolation area along the east bank there, Madawini, I think it is, that was named. So this is a story that we have to follow because how did somebody drop the ball in the prison there? What happened? We need to pay attention to this thing here. So we go on. So the chief education officer Marcel Hudson would have says that the students done well despite the COVID-19 challenges, and this is coming from Marcel Hudson, chief education officer. There was that big video that came out yesterday that was making its way through social media. A couple of gunmen raced into a East Coast supermarket, and this is at Annandale. And if you saw the video, it would have shocked you. Some people were standing in front of the supermarket on a car, in front of a car, and some you see a man, masked man. Well, he's wearing his mask, and he long sleeve, and he went into the supermarket. And then some other guys came, one other man, and held the people in front of the supermarket, and then went in. The other videos showed security cameras, caught in security camera, the drama that followed there. Because when they went into there, they closed the doors and then started robbing. The owner, or got to be the manager or somebody, saw what was happening. He picked up his gun and he ran into the back room, and the one of the bandits saw him when he was there and tried to kick the door down, went behind him at full speed to kick the door down, but it was closed. And then there was a kind of gunfight that happened here. They were exchanging shots, but these guys were very blatant. They took people there, the gun butted a lady there, and they went away. But there was some exchange of fire there. And so, it seems as if we have these bandits coming out younger and younger and younger every day. And we see GT&T services restored to Region 3. Interesting story here. GT&T getting some cause there. Some people are complaining as far as friendship on these bank them. The services lousy, lousy GT&T, and we can't continue to tell you. We have to continue to shame you guys because you're not doing better, and you're not coming out and say what you're doing to rectify the situation. Everybody needs to know because you're not saying anything, but you're collecting every month your revenues, whether we have a service or a lousy service, you are giving us something that is not very, very good. So at the end of the day, that's what we have to say to you. In the meantime, Before we go to the lines, let me address a couple of things. The first thing has to do with Enmore. Enmore would have been complaining about a police woman there who they say that is, abusing her powers allegedly to close a couple of business. A couple of business people called me from up there. Then the other side called and said the police lady is doing her business. So it was a back and forth situation for a couple of days. I did indicate to you that I would have been reaching out to the police complaints authority. And while he did not say much, I want to say good day to Justice Retired William Ramlal, sitting there with the Police Complaints Authority, very serious man. And he says, yes, Mr. Gildarie, we have a case before us. There's a complaint file, and we are investigating it. And to his credit, he did invite Leonard Gildarie to go to the Police Complaints Authority to maybe have a talk to them, but they said they're not at liberty to discuss anything, say anything to the media. The matter is in on the investigation. So I want to say thank you very much there. Always very courteous there from Mr. Justice Retired William Ramlal. And so I want to say good day to all the folks who've been joining us here today, especially down there in New York, Canada, right across Europe there. We have some people just in with us every single day across the Caribbean. Our neighbors, Trinidad, Suriname, Brazil, Cayenne. How you guys doing there? And of course, don't forget our very beautiful people here. Know that every single day we have so many people sitting down or they're doing stuff in the kitchen, and they have the radio. They have Kaieteur radio on 99.1, 99.5, and they're listening because they want to hear what is happening. Well, we are trying to bring the news to you as it comes. The National Assembly right now is looking into everything there. So I think we would have covered it somewhat there. It is 226-7453. 226-7453. We'll open the line in a few minutes there. You could also send your messages to 622-222. I want to say good day to the guys down in Diamond, in the Diamond Housing Scheme, in the Grove Housing Scheme, the Golden Grove Housing Scheme there, but the Old Grove Housing Scheme as well. Samantha Point, Caneville, going on to Craig there, coming back to Little Diamond, good Diamond people there, and of course Prospect Farm, Herselin. How you guys doing? All the way to Providence Station, especially to our good magistrates and judges who would be dispensing the justice and of course looking at the various cases. We want to ask you to make sure that we take all sides of the picture, all sides of the coin, and dispense those justice in those judgments and everything, and the sentences, so that the people, the lady of justice, would be blind to whoever comes. Justice will be handed out in a very even manner. So do we have a caller online there? We go straight into the caller. Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. You are on the air. Go right ahead. Could you lower the volume on your radio, please?
Yes, yes, I'd like to know. They see this fraud at the Asphalt floods.
Yes.
There is a board of directors there,
Uh-huh.
a general manager. They do that they are not aware about this fraud.
Well, we don't know yet. As of now, it's an allegation. It is several sources. I read the newspaper of Kaieteur News,
Yes.
and it's very, very clear that they have spoken to sources. They seem to have specific information, and I presume this is going to be a thing. But we did speak to the Harbour Bridge this morning, which has oversight on that. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But a couple of sources, according to the article.
You have a chairman there who was there for the inception of the board.
Uh-huh. Who's the
Now
chairman for that board?
I don't know his name or what. Was he there for the inception? He's like a god. I believe he's on GPL board now.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
What are we doing?
Well, let's see what happened. At the end of the day, what I can tell you is that we want to see our monies are being spent, and we want to make sure that we get value for our money. And when you,
The asphalt plant was directly under control of the Harbour Bridge.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
And for so long it happens and nobody's saying anything. You have to wait on this government to take over to expose it.
Well, I'm not sure who would have exposed it, but what I could tell you is that as long you have to do with the spending of the people money, are we gonna get it and we're gonna expose it?
We need some explanation.
Yes.
Get the board to give an explanation what's going on.
Uh-huh.
The minister should really intervene and, and let the general public know.
Uh-huh.
We are not to take this old age pension.
Uh-huh.
At the elections, they had promised to double the old age pension, but they have increased it by $4,500.
Well, I presume they're gonna. I'm not sure what's the explanation for that. I think we'd have to ask. I think they're probably gonna do it incrementally. Did they give a specific timeline in which to do that?
Well, I really they will do it. They give a increment of $25,000,
Yeah,
four thousand
yeah.
five hundred dollars.
Uh-huh.
That's not a problem, but they should tell the people why they haven't doubled it. We need to know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know the state of the economy is bad. I want them to say it.
Uh-huh.
Come out and tell the people that, that's the election promise you win. You're
Yes,
going to
yes.
double the whole inspection.
But during the election thing, a whole bunch of things promise. I am,
Yeah,
you're trying to.
promises are made. So you got to fulfill your promises.
Of
Promises
course,
are
I
not
hear
need to
you.
be broken.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's my concern.
Uh-huh.
And thank you for your time, sir. But I hope you can get into that asphalt plant. Asphalt plant.
Well, it seems to
That's
be,
too much
it
thing
seems to
there.
be a public knowledge that nonsense happens here.
Pardon me, sir?
It seems to be public knowledge that something is happening there.
Yeah, something, well, yeah, Mr. Ezil is a straight man.
No, no, he's a very serious man. I know that if he sees this, he's gonna jump on it right away.
You know.
God bless you, my brother.
Yeah, okay, take care, Mr. Gildarie.
Good.
That's my way.
Yes, good day.
Right.
Yes. So I want to say good day to everybody who've joined us today. It's a Wake Up Guyana show. I'm your host Leonard Gildarie, and you tuned in to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 in Demerara Berbice in Esquimalt, and of course you will get us 99.5 down there in Berbice as well. I want to say good day to the East Coast folks. How you doing, Annandale? How you doing, Triumph? All the way there from the Ogle area there. I want to say good day to you at the Ogle Airport. Anat Arjun, how you guys are doing? Captain Mazhar Ali. And of course,
Hello?
today, yes, there's another caller online. Yes, go ahead, caller,
Hello?
you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Good day.
Yes, good day, you're on the air. Go right ahead.
I'm calling from Kanji, Berbice.
Kanchi Berbice. What's happening up in Berbice here?
Well, so far everything is over because you know how everything going now. People not really get work up these and so, and then children not really get internet to do them school work and so, and we get 4 children the home, then again no access to no internet, no
Hmm.
device to them the home. And
So you don't have
you know,
internet to your house or anything?
no, and no wrong neighborhood, we ain't get no internet. So we can get
Anybody got
nothing.
internet there? How you getting internet? Through the telephone lines or you have to do it
No,
wireless?
no, they don't get no internet. Then I go fill out from the road and pay for do their schoolwork and stuff. Now the internet now open and so wrong, no neighbors and so they get no internet pay. So that we did try to call and if anybody could get the internet or so, we could get the sorting help to get some
Well, if
internet.
you're living around the corner by me, I would have give you my internet. I'm glad to
I
give it. In
know.
fact, a couple of people I done sharing it with and so, but I'm not sure in that area there, and I could probably make a call out. What part in Kanji is this? Kanji is a big
Good
place.
banana land, and we get 4 children and we never get no internet pay and
We
we
call it
get,
Good Banana Land.
yes.
Yes, I'm gonna call out for there. I'm not sure what I could tell you except that there's a problem that we're facing all over the country here with this
Yes.
internet problem. I think this thing has exposed us. This pandemic has exposed us so much that a lot of family.
Yes.
It is really really sad when you hear some
And
of
you
the
know,
stories.
it's the children them most it is got things about because them they home how much months now and they getting nothing to do. Well if it's the book they have, you gotta buy book for them, you gotta buy for them, do them work home and then you get a pharmacy that if she when you go good in school. Now how much months now she the home me get one white common insurance and then me still get too small when they home here. You gotta buy book for them all the time. The nursery school teacher, you gotta go father gotta go and pick up papers so he gets to do work them to at home.
Yeah, my girl, I know, and I can tell you,
Yes.
I can tell you about poverty. I've experienced, I when I hear stories like this, it really tears my heart apart. I really am sorry.
Me try to call in months and months since
I know
this
it's
year.
very difficult,
Yeah.
it's
We
very
just listen to the
difficult.
program all the time. We just listen to the program.
Yes,
But we did
ma'am.
not get things through.
Yes, thank you
Yes,
very much.
yes, okay
I'm
then.
gonna make the call because we've been calling.
Mhm.
I'm trying to shame GT&T here, but like they don't got no shame, man. I don't know. All right. Well, thank you, ma'am. So all the way from Kanji, Good Banana Land, I think it is. I hope I'm pronouncing it right here. And um, I want to say good day to the good folks down there in Kanji. It's a beautiful place. New Amsterdam as well. How you guys doing? There's a big Kanji bridge. We need to fix that bridge and keep it. There's a beautiful view from up there. You go down to, some reason or the other. It's a very quaint little place, but New Amsterdam, I think I kind of like there. There's something that's so quaint about that place. I go down there. You go over to Blairmont as well, and when you go down driving that road, heading to the Blairmont sugar estate there, it's wide open fields of sugar cane and so on, and so it's such a different peaceful time. If you are living in Georgetown and you go to those areas, a different air that you breathe, and you see the atmosphere in a different way. I'm not sure. Maybe it's my imagination, but I think country is much more better to live. If you've gone to the hinterlands and you go to some places where the trees towering around you, and there's the creeks and so on, the stillness and the birds chirping and so on. It's just so peaceful. If you've never gone to the hinterlands, if there's an opportunity that arises, you guys take a walk up there. It's a different life up there. That's why you have some people who are in the gold bush would never ever come out and come to Georgetown to live because that's the way. That's what they know. They like the waterways. They like the open forest area there, and they have a little fence, and they could drive. They could pick up themselves, jump into the vehicle, drive over, go to Brazil, across. Do you know that we have a bridge connecting Brazil and Guyana? It's called the Takatu Bridge. Takatu Bridge is a lesson for you, and it was built between by the two government a couple of years back. And you could drive from Guyana to Brazil, and when you go over to Brazil, there's a Bonfim area there. It's a little the body area, very dusty and everything. But you drive maybe a couple hours, you could reach I think Boa Vista, and Boa Vista is just on the fringe of Brazil. Brazil is a pretty big place, but when you see the kind of development that they have here, and you know that it's just a border that separates us, but so much different. You see the wide open fields of corn and soya and so on. So it's just right across the border there. And you go to Suriname, even if you step across the border into Naikiri, and there's this little place that's there that's filled with casinos and hotels and car rentals and doctors' quarters and so on. And you want to know, did I just leave Guyana? Am I still in Guyana? Because it's just a couple minutes away. But it is what it is. So we have a lot of way to go. We have to be very disciplined with it. Or people have not been disciplined. They have been very bad. They've been indisciplined. They've done everything in their books to make sure that what is happening here is just a passing phase. It cannot be a passing phase. More than 100 persons, more than 100 persons in the prisons have been tested positive. So let's go back to the lines again. We want to hear from our people. Good afternoon, caller. You in the air?
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Go right ahead.
I have a problem, but I'm not sure if you could help me with it.
Sure.
Um, I am 21 years of age, and I'm a born Guyanese, but I always send and forget the birth paper, and I never get back a reply of anybody sending back something to me, or,
You sent in a what? A board paper?
yeah, a birth certificate.
How long ago you did that?
A couple of months, and I keep on doing it, like, since I was, like, 15 years old.
And
I,
why you didn't go into them?
because it's in Georgetown, and I live in Berbice.
Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. When you try calling them, what did they say?
I don't have a number to call them, but I don't have no contact either with my mom or dad, so I'm not really sure that I have a birth certificate. But
Oh,
I
here what you
go
can do
to
for me,
school.
baby.
Mhm.
Yeah, today as well. Call me, no, no, call me this afternoon about 3:30 at the office here, and I'm gonna try to see what I could advise. I could probably give you some numbers, and we're gonna take it from there.
Okay, so I could call the same number.
No, you call 2258491.
You don't mind that I get a pen fast?
Yes, yes, do quick. Okay.
Okay.
In the meantime, while she's coming there, a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo cover with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online for the comfort of your home. Telephone
Hello?
225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. Yes, ma'am. Go
Yeah.
right ahead.
Yeah, I could have it now.
Yes, 225-8491.
85491.
No, no, 225
Uh-huh. Yeah.
8491.
Okay,
You
thank you
call
so
and
much.
ask the Gildarie.
Okay.
There's about 3:30 or so, and I'm gonna see what I could get you some numbers and so, and see how you could think. I'm really sorry you didn't get it, but you
Oh,
see these things that you got to sit on it, because sometimes if you don't know somebody, or you live
yeah.
in so far, it becomes a frustrating experience.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, thank you. Keep up the good work. I listen to you every day on the radio.
Yes, my dear. Do happen to have a blessed day and the rest of the day.
Yeah, you too. Bless.
Good day. Bye. And somebody is saying here, in the meantime, Mr. Gildarie, Classic International Hotel in Skeldon are giving free internet for school children. This is very good. And if anybody has, let me challenge you guys to today. In the meantime, while we're doing our things very quietly and not talk about laptops or any tablets or anything, everybody that has internet in Guyana, that whether you have Wi-Fi, especially if you have Wi-Fi at home, if you could help a neighbor who might be less fortunate for them to be able to attend those Zoom classes, let us do it. Let us don't allow these kids to stay home struggling or something. If there's something that you could do, just give them a little bench or a desk or something if you don't want them in the house, because I understand people need to protect themselves. You can't be looking into everything. But the Wi-Fi goes out beyond on the shed or something, and you could have them right next to the place. Ones in the growing up, and when you see other kids would have stuff, how it is that you feel as somebody. I did receive a call not too long ago, and this lady here from Kanji, uh, from Good Banana Land, I think it is, was just telling me there, and it brought my mind so far away. I could remember, and this brought tears to my eyes and to my mom's eyes. My dad was killed in the line of duty when I was 6. He was a policeman, and so we grew up. Mommy used to be living in Turkine at that moment there, not too far from where the convention center is, just on the opposite side heading to the seawall, I think somewhere in the vicinity there of where the massive supermarket is. And so they were living there, and I was staying with my grandmother up in Enmore. And my dad joined the police force, and one night while he was guarding not too far away at the head of where the sheriff railway embankment is, there was a GPL power, um, I think, a facility down there, and he was sticking, and they attacked him for his gun, and he was killed. And so my mom, as a police officer, you would gotten some benefit. She received what you call survivors benefits, and then some other thing that she would have been getting from NIS and so on, over the years until she died, which was a couple of years back. She would have been receiving that. But I can remember one time that I was just what 6, 7, and she took me to see. I think it was the commissioner of police then. It was a gentleman by the name of, I think it was Lloyd Barker. Lloyd Barker was a commissioner of police in the 80s then. And you could see the tears leaking down her face, asking the commissioner, whatever you could help me with. Even a day like today, until a couple of years, I think only this year we didn't do it, but up to last year, I think they would have been the laying of the wreath for my dad. But to come back, the point is what I want to tell you is that I can remember me crying as a little boy because seeing my mom, it was the only person that I knew. I mean, my dad was gone, and I was little 6, 7 years old, and she's there crying in front of the commissioner of police because she wanted some help. God bless her soul, because she did stand up for her 2 sons at that point in time, and it always stood with me what poverty was, and what it was like going to school. We couldn't even afford. I used to go to QC. I topped the entire East Bank in 1985, um, and was given QC, and so I went there. And my brother and myself, we couldn't afford many days to take the bus or take a short drop car to Queens College. So we were walking. We walked to go to school from the park, which is from the East Bank Park there, to Queens College. So you're talking about, you're just early in your teens, and you walk there, and then you come back, you walk to come back home. and many days we went to school without lunch. So I can tell you about poverty. When you see Gildarie sit down here and talk about poverty, it is not something that I hear from somebody. I could tell you literally what it is that we went through, what is it that we experienced, and it's a very humbling experience, and many stories like that you would hear. Would tell a story how he slept in the Starbuck market for years while trying to build a life. And he one time I was interviewing him. He's gonna forgive me for this, and there were tears in his eyes, remembering those occasions. We it makes us stronger as a person, knowing how we go through life with all these experiences there. It has made me sit down and talk to my kids from time to time to appreciate the things that you have. When I see people wasting food, it upsets me. When I see people, not having appreciation of what you have right now. Back in the days, we had so little. There was no television at that point in time. Who had television were lucky. There was a video show place in the area that we would go. I remember we used to go watch boxing and things like that. Um, the fun that we had was on Sundays in Cricket on the Road. You would have been going by the neighbors. You play dominoes, you play Monopoly, you play cards, or you play marble in the road. I don't see kids doing that at the moment, but it is what it is. But I hope that my story there is not a sad story. I think it's been a good lesson growing up and seeing what it has here. It's a call in line. Good day, caller, you in the air. Go right ahead. I think we missed that. But really wanted to share that because I'm not ashamed to tell people. I would tell my staff was there that I was working with you and I was a senior reporter and I was building my house and I was sleeping on the floor because I couldn't afford a bed for a couple of years. This happened a couple of years back. And I'm not ashamed to say that to the people of Guyana to sit here and you look all nice and dandy and things are going well, but you don't know the struggles of man. You don't know the struggles of people. We should be humble with it. Yes. Good afternoon, calling on the air.
Good
Yeah.
afternoon, Gildarie.
Good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, my brother, everything good.
Tell me.
What about you?
Well, I'm trying here to remember some old stories, to remember my mom.
That is what I noticed.
Yes.
I see you bring back a lot of memories to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people there.
Mm-hmm.
My friend here, what happened? This thing what we see everybody call out and call out from the government. Let the rest themselves relax a bit. Now we go in. We can get progress on. Recently, 400 ad workers take back at the quarantine estate. That one big improvement.
Yes, I did see
Right?
that. I did see that.
410 workers already don't get taken out of Rosale.
Mm-hmm.
That big improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Many things are going on a lot of places. Now with internet service, I think GT&T need to come down very low for suit the crisis right now.
Well,
Really,
I'm not, this thing is, I listen to that and I listen to what the people are saying, and it gets me so very upset that you have a big corporate company there. I'm surprised that they haven't come out and criticized me yet because I've been
there
criticizing
is
them for several months now, but I don't give a damn
there
anymore with it.
there is nothing GT&T are doing for the Guyanese and one day like today. So in this kind of crisis of pandemic what we going through, digital for a stranger, they still doing something.
And
Well,
they remind me of the word vulture. Vulture, they feed on dead and things like that. It is unbelievable. When you don't, it reminds me. So Glenn was showing us a picture of a cow the other day, and what happened with a cow with the head stuck in the fence. And it's when you don't, then you really realize when you have nothing, then you really
yes.
realize what you really mean to people. So I hear your point, my brother.
What I think they should do, if they get to cut down on this internet service from the GT&T company, everybody could hold a smartphone and do their schoolwork with the data.
I could tell you some stories what some staffers there would have been complaining about even working there and having access to internet and so on. But that's another story for another day.
Yeah, but this is ridiculous for no your own Guyanese. This still like this.
That's the
GT&T
sad thing about it,
something, why
right?
you doing something? The telephone can't do nothing. Them give extension B.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you what
And
you're
that's
saying
a
here.
fear.
It is.
Them a reap of money after this Guyanese.
If I tell you that they're one of the top companies that has been buying up our U.S. dollars and so on,
Of
and
course.
we should not be afraid. We shouldn't be ashamed. We shouldn't be scared to say what it is. At the end of the day, when you come and you're charging me for a quality, like if the Kaieteur News, if a day that we don't print an ad properly, we have to answer. We have to answer to Glenn Lal.
Fair
Or the
deal.
people got to answer to Glenn. We have to answer to the customer why we didn't produce that. Maybe we'd have to probably print the ad another day free of cost because
Yeah,
that's what it
fair
is.
deal, because you already charged.
Man, but I don't understand. I don't understand. We have to get. I'm glad that. Let me tell you what it is. E-Networks. I called E-Networks, and he wasn't in our area yet, and I happened to get a wireless service because of net that GT&T. I was forced to stay home because of COVID, and I needed to do the radio program from home, and I had to get a wireless. I had to call and I had to beg the guy. But let me tell you this: the service that you get from E-Networks is super. It's fantastic.
Far better than GT&T.
No, and these are the kind of service. It's as if what GT&T is telling the people of Guyana, to hell with you, that you don't deserve the respect as a citizen of Guyana. That's what they're saying.
You know, me does always tell them that personally. They say that we out here, dollar and 10 cents and 5 cents, give you one pocket.
Uh huh.
We need you as much you need we more. And you should try to give us
Mhm.
our service.
Mhm. All right
And if
then.
you tax fair, right, then cut you off.
Yeah. They do their own thing. Even in the other companies, we even have some local companies here who believe that you're doing them a favor by giving them your business. If I had to get another water company, I presume we're gonna go elsewhere, but we don't have a choice. We stuck with GWI, we stuck with GPL, and it looks as if the monkey around our back, to use a famous phrase of a former president, the monkey around our back has to be GT&T because I think it was Barjagdeo when he was president. He wanted to do away with GT&T. A lot of people were suspicious of it, but guess what? In his wisdom, he realized the danger when you headed into a modern society of having
Right.
one company. And here we have the pandemic, which is clearly exposing us.
Yes, fair deal. And the next thing I would like to say to Guyanese is let us come out and go out. Don't feel if you don't have the symptoms, go out and make a check. You don't know who have it or not.
Well, if you hear, let me tell you, I'm not sure. I think it's over 1,000 persons is in the prison system. Let's do some math here. 1,000 persons in the prison system, and you have about
Alone.
four prisons, right? You have Camp Street Prison, you have Lusignan, you have Berbice, New Amsterdam there, you have the one Mazaruni Prison, and you have one at Chimeri there.
Yes.
And imagine 120 out of that entire 1,000, which happens to just be Lusignan alone, happen to be testing positive. You want to do the math there and see how much of them would have actually been at Lusignan, and therefore what is not being said, how much of them actually tested positive out of the
That is it.
percentage here. I think maybe half of the prison population. Again, I'm not sure. I'm just throwing these figures up in the air. We need to think, huh?
You can't blame jail. Jail too cluster up.
Yes, it is something, and I am extremely scared of that. In the
Right?
meantime, our people
I
continue
think
to do
the people
madness.
them should have free up themselves and come out now because at recent few weeks back I hear two fool was talking. At in them time one person dead, but them should have been remembered they didn't have the equipment. And
Right,
they
right,
didn't do
right,
the
right.
right job.
No.
And the
You're
people
doing
them
it now
grown
because
up.
people are coming across the border. The police allowing them. The police turning a blind eye. The minibus people are coming down here by the minibus loads, and nobody's saying anything.
That is
If you
it.
see foreigners in the minibus, you would have remembered. Berbice is protected because it's difficult for you to go past the bridge. There's no speedboat or anything. You may
No.
be able to slip it through, but once in a while. Maybe if you one in a minibus and you pass in a minibus. But guess what? It's going to be very, very difficult to slip past Berbice. So Berbice is going to be protected. But this Esquivel here and Demerara, you could come through from Charity, jump in a speedboat from Supermanam, you're down in Georgetown. And that's if you bypass the Charity authorities at Morowana. But you could also come through the Lethem Trail. And if you come through from Brazil into the Lethem Trail and you land in Linden, I think you're home. They say you're home in Gould. Right?
Right. Yes.
God bless you, my brother. I hear you.
Yeah, my brother. Take care.
Good. Bye bye. So very quickly, we have some messages here. Hi, good morning. Well, it's good afternoon or good morning. I'm not sure. Um, I would like to get on. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. I'm from Glasgow, East Bank, Berbice. My father-in-law passed away in January of this year. My mother-in-law applied in March for her husband's survival benefit, and everybody she make contact with, they always tell her they're working on it, and we call it and never call back. This sounds familiar, awfully familiar. When she go to the NIS in New Amsterdam, they tell her that they're waiting on Georgetown NIS to get back to them. And when she go to Georgetown, they said they would get back to her. NIS is just getting us back and forth and no answers. And that is what our people in Guyana go through from time to time. Bad here, the Uncle Glenn should start up an internet service in Georgetown, I think it is. Internet service business in Guyana, I'm not sure. Um, so the American cut off our oil, the Chinese decimate our forests, the Russians pillage our bauxite, or the Canadians remove our gold. They take everything and leave us behind. All of them are granted license to do this by our leaders. Our leaders have betrayed us. They, along with the foreign investors, waved before us the promise of jobs, asking a desperate nation to settle for the crumbs which are offered. It's time to demand better from our leaders. It's time to reject the sweet talks. So that's interesting. It's coming there. Good day, Mr. Gildarie. And this person sent 100 times. Um, I'm not sure, was it? Um, Good day, Mr. Gildarie. How are you doing? I need to know if the CHMP are working on house lots in the remigrant scheme as yet. I think they're looking at it. Um, I'm not sure what this person. So you know Bloody Bar in the industry congram. So you know Bloody Bar. I'm not sure what this person is writing here. All right. Good afternoon, bro. How are you doing? What can I say? Since March, no school work from anyone for our children yet. My kids are slow learners, so the TV is too fast for them. Can't afford internet and don't have any device for them as yet. Um, so I have my phone, but the data done too fast. Please help them, bro. My number is so. This is a story. Then kids is working in the market by selling our kids write the exam in school 2 days and don't get COVID-19. So the minister opened the school door. I don't know. It's badly written here, but I get the gist of it. People are really suffering. The Ministry of Work has to get jailed for the Asphalt racket. Ramjatan used to sell gun lights for 1 million. Said within 5 days, the years they'll raise to 40,000. The government should break the monopoly of GT&T. I hear you with that one, dear. Let me see what else I have here. So awesome vibes to do my housework from Cove and John. Enjoying you guys. Good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. You're doing a great job for the people of Guyana. Locked in from Cove and John. Ashma Bacchus. Thank you very much, dear Ashma. How you doing? I hope I pronounced your name right. Good afternoon, sir. My mother of four living in Demerara River. No access to the internet. Cannot afford data on my phone to keep up with the schoolwork. I don't know how you can help. I'm not sure GT&T needs to get done there, but it's something we need to bring the plight of the people out there. The west side of the Demerara Harbour Bridge is closed at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. to accommodate two-lane going west. How will the people abide with curfew? Or why not 4 p.m. to 5 p.m.? That way, both sides have 1 hour to meet the destination. Yesterday, I think was a classic example. Your view, I agree with that. I think I think looking at the options the Harbour Bridge came up with this afternoon, two lane business, which is going through the western side and they close off the eastern side. They did that in the time when we had no pandemic and there was no curfew at that point in time. It needs to be looked at, and there's a very good point that's raised by the people there. But I don't think that the police officer could be stopping you if you're on the road because of the bridge and the congestion is there. Good morning to. Well, I think I'm not sure. This is for another one. All right. In the meantime, let me see some other. Before we head back out to our lines, we got to read our people before they get upset with us. Good afternoon, son. I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work. Our country need leaders like you. I'm somebody's son now. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Um, all right. I'm going to read this. Um, And let me answer this. Leonard, you're a real hypocrite, guy. I mean, you're talking about sort of a migrant coming to Guyana. What about when you all Guyanese going all over the world, especially Suriname? Let me answer this to this idiot who is saying this thing here, or let me just say that. If we're talking about people coming to our country, you can't go to the United States unless We're not saying that migrants shouldn't come here. You got to hear this. Because that's absolute. If you're saying that Gildarie is a hypocrite here, this thing is very, very clear. If you come into a country, whether it's Trinidad, whether it's any country, you cannot just walk in there and just say that you want to just go into the country. There has to be some kind of process or a system that is going to be controlled. Guyana's opened the borders to Venezuelans coming to our country. We're not refusing them. But when you have the borders that are supposed to be closed, that has a pandemic, it takes a different context. It takes a different context. So when you have policemen facilitating that, you don't know who is coming into a country, and we have a COVID situation there. What is so hypocritical about that? You have to have some kind of control mechanism that at the various areas that somebody could say, look, you're coming from there, allow you to come in. But let me test the pressure. If nobody knows that you're coming in here, wherever you're coming from, and nobody knows, what you're doing is exposing the people of Guyana to the situation here. So maybe I went overboard there a little, but guess what? Um, well, this person seems to be on the thing. How do you know that they're walking in without papers, you dumbo? Well, I'm not sure. You could say whatever you want to say, sir. At the end of the day, we have a right to protect our borders. When you go into Trinidad, they don't allow you into Trinidad like that. You have to go with the documents. If you go into any other places, we're not saying close the borders. What we're saying, you come into the country, but this has to be controlled. If you're coming over the border, that's why they close the borders for the pandemic. And so, what this person is saying here, they keep educating the Guyanese populace about the conditions of this country and the aims of these deceitful investors, communists, capitalists, and imperialists. More article plus daily programming to address these issues. If we continue like this, we'll have a Chinese president soon, not Artichong, and this is coming from somebody there. And so we have a couple of people raising issues there. But to come back, we cannot have any. I don't care how you say that we went to other places. I'm saying that those countries opened the border, but there was a system in which they vet you when you get into the system. And we thank you for that. But when you have a system of pandemic here, you cannot have the borders. So that's why we closed the borders in the first place. We closed it. We closed all the businesses again. We put curfew in place. It's all a part in the menu of measures in which you have to protect it. So I don't understand what you're saying there. I think what this gentleman is saying there, that you should allow the borders to open and allow the people to come Wild West. You can't do that, sir. You have a government that has to protect the people, and it's imperative that we screen. Maybe in good times we could probably have it open, but even that you got to be very careful with. You should bring the people in. You should charge someone. There's a processing fee. The American, if you're going for a visa, is $100 and something that you have to pay. You have to pay the embassy. The American embassy is making a lot of money from processes of visa applications and other fees that they're taking in. As a country, we have the right. It's a lot of money. But there's a caller online. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Good afternoon, caller. You on the air?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm okay. And some people they don't answer them.
Uh
Every
huh.
country has rules. You don't go in a country just so. Even if you look like backtrack, they lock you up. So I don't know which one to start. But coming back to the point, one of the things that the government of Guyana has not done, not just this one, our government of Guyana, since CLICO, where NIS had a great investment in and lost, it put NIS under pressure. So even when they keep sending people back and forth, it's literally they can't pay everybody at the same time. They don't have money. And the government has not paid attention to the fact that NIS has a cash flow problem. And the problem is if you check when NIS was established in Guyana, when you check today's date, you will have thousands of people eligible at this time for their pension. And they literally cannot meet all of that. And no government, all the governments has poured money in all of these places, give concession to foreign companies, but none has said to NIS, we're going to give you $10 billion to balance out your book. If they did it, I have never seen it in any paper, heard it in any news.
Mhm.
There's one. Two, as it relates to these foreign companies, for instance, I heard in the news, this company that bought over, I think it's Guyana Goldfield Inc.,
Yeah.
are looking to get rid of Guyanese workers. One of the problems is I can't understand why no government is filling this in these people's heads. An international agreement is there that if you come into any foreign country, at least 50% of your workforce have to be from that local people. And if they don't have the necessary training, you have to train them. You can't say you're knocking out Guyanese. But these companies come and they do the same company that got a problem with the airport, they're Goldfield Link, they're Movie Town, they're Pegasus. And at the end of the day, they're doing substandard work and still getting more contracts and still allowing to do things. We got the oil company, we had the Russians, now we got the Chinese. And guess what? Everybody indeed gets our wealth and we don't get it. I work every day for $255 an hour. You check the house, 12 hours I got work to get a little living wage. These people coming and going with my wealth. I got gold, I got bauxite, I got diamond, I got iron. I am still working $250 a day. Wow, what's the point? What's the point of we having this wealth? Better stay here, let them go, let me suffer. It doesn't make sense that they come in and they prosper and we still suffer. I'll listen to your comments after. Thank you.
Thank you very much, JSR, and I fully agree with that. If you have a company, when you give out your resources into a country, and before we do that, let me call out a 718-878, 718-878-0364. I don't know who this idiot is, but you don't come onto this line here, sir. You got to be very respectful like the rest of the folks, and you guys take note of the number. It has to be an idiot. And so we are going to have our people with respect on this line here. Have respect for them. They have been a good set of folks, and so we're treating them right, and we will continue to treat them right and with respect. And when it comes to our country, but to come back to what is what our good caller there would have said in a very short while with regards to gold fields and so on. When you ask companies to come here, it's not only to provide employment, but it's to make sure that our taxes and so on, that we benefit in some way, because we might as well take over the business, ask for a loan from some country, bring in some management, and we own it. There's a couple of options that you do. So this company came here, got a bunch of concessions. They got equipment, they would have gotten duty-free concession, they would have gotten tax-free breaks, and they came here, started production in 2016, very early 2016, commercial production that is. Fast forward, they ran into money problem, and Guyana did not have a say. What they did is sold the shares to this Chinese company for almost 300 something million dollars. Get what Guyana got out of that deal? Zilch. And so they're here, and there's an application apparently for to bring in 200 something. At least that's what the private sector commission has written to the president, asking him to look into this. One of his members have complained about it, and so when you have companies that are coming here and believe that they could do what they want to do and not use our locals, then what benefit are we getting? That's the whole point of it. And I agree with you. When companies come here, we have to make sure that we see in our own little ways how we could benefit. Ultimately, the deal has to be that Guyana benefits. It cannot be that you alone benefit in, and that's what the Trinidad Prime Minister Keith Rowley would have said. If there's a deal that is sitting on the table and one person benefited, is it a deal? It's an agreement. It can't be that. We have to sit at the table. You walk away happy. I walk away happy, and there's respect and there's love in the room. And so there's no love at the moment. What is happening here? We have one company coming in here, and they've been taking out our bauxite and never declaring a profit. And this is Russell company, a Russian company comes here, and they are taking out. They have been taking out our wealth. And guess what? They're saying they're not making a profit. For 10 to 12 years that you're here, you're not making a profit. And they did not, the authorities, the regulators did not see it fit to pull this company in and says, bring your books here. If you're not operating and making a profit, how are you still operating? So these are the kind of questions that we could ask. But at the same time, if you want to come take over this country, this company here, and you decide to do this, there's something that the Ministry of Labor and a couple of the others regulators can do to halt the situation. So we got to be very, very serious. We're bringing in companies to take over, cart out our resources, but at what cost? Is it at the cost of our people? So we have to be very, very careful in that. Today, my name is. We live. This is okay. Somebody's asking for some help here. Um, Okay, thank you for connecting. Let me see, what is this here? August subsequent, so we had PCR both. I'm not sure what's this message here. But in the meantime, before we go back to the callers, let me just read a couple of messages very quickly. Um, GT&T has sent us, they've sent us, every day they're sending us messages, SMS us and whatever, and they said, get us on WhatsApp on 62402 428 62402 42. Let me see, 640, yes, 640 2448. Yet another way to reach us. And so GT&T is saying that if you want to get through to them on WhatsApp, 640 2428. So you could reach them there. I'm sharing it with you. Good afternoon, Leonard. Just want people to understand that when PPP make that old age pension promise, COVID was nowhere in sight. People need to be thankful, for the world is in a crisis, and there's somebody coming to the defense of the government and that. Hi, Mr. Leonard. I'm from Laluni. When the PPP was in power, we were given a bus to transport. And this is, I think, no, I did read that message sometime before. Um, let's go back to the line. So we have another caller in line. Yes, good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Oh, we missed that one. Good day. I'm enjoying your program in my work shop in Covent John, East Coast, Demerara. Good day to you, sir. What kind of workshop you got there? I hope that it's a body workshop. You could do some business with you. All right. There's another call in line. Go right ahead, caller. You on the air?
Mr. Leonard,
Yes, it is. Go right ahead, sir.
good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I just want to say this, that, NIS contribute to a lot of people's death in this country. And why I'm saying that, because sometimes when you listen and you hear the result that they give to you, when you ask them for your contribution, and when they give to you, you could fall dead right there. If there's a heart attack, you can pick up right away there, because you know why? I'm telling you this, that some people have so many years working with companies, have the contribution, and when you go to NIS, nothing there for you.
Hmm.
You know, you have to, right now, I work 10 years with guys, Suku, from 1994 to 2004. I worked 2 years before guys, Suku, I worked 2 years with a Guyana company, right? I work with the next company now, 18 months now, and I went to them 2 Fridays ago, and they say I only have 4 contributions.
Hmm.
And it took me all NIS card and give me a new one with a different number.
And so you missed out on that contribution, all those contributions.
All those contributions. They say I only have 4.
I don't know what to say to you. Um, I don't know what to say to you there because I've been trying to call. I even tried to call back the good PRO, but she hasn't been responding to me. I'm gonna have to call the GM this afternoon, for them to see if there's some other ways that, because I've been asking for them to provide me some other numbers. Apparently they're very busy at what they're doing, and we've offered them this radio program here. They did promise it started off pretty good, but I think they're very busy doing whatever it is that they're doing there. But I'm going to talk to the GM this afternoon and see maybe if there's some other ways that we could get some other numbers that people could really complain.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
God bless you. So in the meantime, while that caller there, while we waiting on some other caller, it's another question that have been asking. Good afternoon, Leonard. Does all the schools in Guyana have internet service? If so, some of our kids who have no access to internet at all can go there in staggered session to get their studies done. This is something that we've been thinking about too, but I'm not so sure whether the ministry has given permission to the kids to go to school. The schools have to be fumigated. It has to be sanitized before the kids go back there, and so it's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to play in there. But I agree with you. If there's a central point where there's internet, but these schools doesn't have like the big Wi-Fi system. If you put about 10 persons on it, it's not gonna allow you. I think it's normal DSL, normal speed. You cannot have about 5 or 6 person that is gonna be there on Zoom if you're in a different program. Maybe one computer or a big screen or something. So there's a lot of thought that needs to go in there that maybe for something like that to work. And so let me see. The good day. I'm working and listening at NIS. Listen to you guys. Don't mention that. Um, my apologies. By the time I read it here, but look, we need to get ourselves in order. NIS seems to be a very big deal. Um, uh, it's a very big deal for the people. And this thing is very, very simple. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. NIS need to have some kind of customer service specialist area that can take complaints. I'm not sure if they have it there, but whatever is happening is very clear that the people are not getting the service that they're getting. If you're making a complaint, and there are a number of complaints that we have in here, it's obvious that they're not, how you say it, they're not getting the attention, or no, somebody's not giving them a feedback for the complaints that they have. So NIS need to do something. Either you have a number that you could call into that somebody's speaking on the switchboard, that you could have a call center like what they say, and here's a reference number for you. I'm gonna check on this back and let's call you back, and we have within a couple of days to do it. But NIS is not like GPL. GPL, according to the license that government has given them, every year they got to go before the Public Utilities Commission as a regulator, and they have to report to them how many blackouts they had, why the blackouts this year is more than last year, that they had a problem, how do they intend to bring down the number of blackouts, how do they intend to reduce the number of electricity, or the quantity of electricity theft that is happening right now. How long do they take to respond to new applications for connections? Those kind of things that they got to do. NIS doesn't fall under that. They have a board of directors, which is probably going to be led by a very senior official within the government, and NIS is going through this, and they're struggling. We know what the challenges are. However, not addressing the customer service side of things is not something that should be acceptable. So they need to listen, and they need to be thinking. Um, the guy that just called and says that four contributions of NIS for him, it could be that the employer did not did not took out the money, but did not pay. And it's something that we have to, a lot of employers, so, and I think this is where NIS need to get a little more serious too. You have especially security forms that we receiving a lot of complaints about. These guys are doing a whole bunch of stuff. At the end of the month, you get a pay slip says they've taken out $2,000 out of everything to send to NIS. And when you go to NIS, no money is there, but they've deducted out from you. So that's robbery, right? And NIS need to get hold of these employers and start charging them high profile. You need to rush a couple of the owners, and those don't do it to the managers. Rush a couple of the owners through the court and let it go into the newspaper, or let it make the TV news that Gildarie does not pay the NIS for his workers. We need to embarrass people, Raj. Embarrass people, and people are going to wake up and smell the coffee, and smell it in the thing. So this is a Wake Up Guyana show on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5. We're coming to you live on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, and also on YouTube, Kaieteur Radio live stream. I want to say good day, and I hope that Channel Lal is not forgetting us at the moment, that we expecting that the birthday celebrations is going to be right here in Kaieteur Radio. We expect some goodies, Tishana. I hope that you're downstairs and that you're listening. So I hope that you're having a blast for your birthday there, to director Tishana Lal. So we go back to the lines again. Good afternoon, calling you on the air.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Leonard.
Yes, it is, sir.
Good afternoon, my friend.
Good afternoon.
I heard somebody call about NIS. I would just like to add my little piece as well to that.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm an NIS pensioner, by the way. Now, one thing I observe over the years is that people have to check on the contribution record regularly, maybe every year, possibly every 2 years. Don't wait until you're ready to go off then, because you'll have a series of problems, that's one. Number two, if person change job, one job to the other, and they change the NIS number, definitely they will have that kind of problem the guy was complaining about. The third thing is that if you spell your name a little differently, maybe a letter missing or a letter add on to the name, those can cause your contribution to go elsewhere as well too.
Yeah.
Right? I started contributing since day one, 1969. I was 60 plus person, a pension as I said, right?
Mm.
In 1969, I lost approximately 250 contributions over the years.
Wow.
Back in those days, they used to have the stamp system, where every they put on stamps on the card, and regularly you're going to sign the card. So, well, I lost quite a number, but I couldn't push it forward. I ended up with about 40 or 50 contributions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I didn't work my entire working life in Guyana. I was out of Guyana for a period of time as well. Anyhow, that's my little contribution advice to people, whoever in the workforce right now. check regularly on your NIS records. I
And
think you can go
right, right.
online. I
You can
think
go
they can.
online. You need to go online, get your
Yes,
ID
I think
card
they can go
number.
and check regularly. And any questions, try take it up early. Don't wait until pension age. You might be too disappointed when the time comes. You might not get the right amount.
Right.
Right? So that's my little contribution this afternoon. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Thank you
All
very
right.
much, dear my brother. And you're right. And that caller there has reminded us. If you know of somebody, everybody knows somebody who got a computer or something that they could go online with. And so what you need to do, you go and you have your NIS number, and you could just tell them your NIS number, and there's some other requirements that you think, and you could punch in and you could see how much contributions that you would have made. And of course, if your employer is shafting you, you would be able to raise that with them and say, "Hey, wait a minute, what is happening here?" And you could be able to arrest that very early instead of waiting until you're 60. And let me tell you this: it's a very good conversation that we have in here. Why would we? People are beginning to wake up and realize that we wasted. Growing up, you see plenty person. I see body workshop and so many things, shopkeepers and so on. Everybody is there and they're doing the little thing and they're not paying the NIS, and then all of a sudden they wake up 60 years old, can barely help themselves, and they start dependent on the children that they have, because they need the money, and then they don't have a NIS thing, and so they're stuck with getting an old age pension somewhere along the line of just 20 something thousand dollars, and that's it. So it's very important that we start relooking and start, you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, and you take a shower or whatever it is, as part of your working life, as part, the minute that you start earning income, automatically you should be paying something to NIS. It's the law. But if you just take it for granted, man, I need to keep this money instead of paying them. I don't able with that. We need to start looking at it from a different perspective, because at the end of the day, what you're going to end up with is both your NIS and the old age pension, whatever help you're going to get. Now, let's assume that our oil kicks off and God bless this good country of ours, and we could get some oil money. That would be icing on the cake, and so that's how you start looking, and this is how we have to start planning as people as we go forward in this country. Things like pension, it is very important. Things like medical insurance, very important. A lot of people don't have those kinds of cushion, safety net to fall back on, and so you just wake up all of a sudden and you realize you can't go, because you don't have an insurance. You can't go to a private hospital. You're stuck with the public system, which is a good thing that Guyana is offering, because a lot of people would not have been able to afford. What about those people that, they go in? And somebody did call me this morning, complaining about a chest clinic or somewhere, I think, along South Road there. They went there, and it's a place where they give the food handler certificate. And the person said that when they went there, they take quotas, like 50 persons or so, and they allow the other persons would have to wait, and it's a very frustrating experience. So they need people to look into that system of the chest clinic where they give the food handler certificate, and maybe the person recommended or called or urged that the Ministry of Health could probably look into some other measures in where there's not one place alone that is centralized. And it's like the same thing too. I think we have three offices now, or at least one, two, yeah, at least three, four passport offices now. The one in Georgetown, one in Berbice, one in Esquimalt, and one in Linden. So what you have there is just reduce the need for you to travel all the way to come to Georgetown. You just have to wait a couple of days to get your passport. The problem that we have right now is that NIS, although they have branches all over the place, it looks as if somebody's not doing these things. It's just, let's work 9 to 5, and they need to start revamping the system and start serving as if they're serving these things. Get everything online. I think there were some big projects that they're talking about using the internet and connect all the government agencies, so that when you go in there, you could be able to access your records at GRA, you could be able to access your records at NIS, you could be able to do your banking, you could be able to do so many things all at one place, a single window stuff there. So let's start looking at that, and let maybe talk a little more about that, because these are things that matters. When you talk quality of life, one of the big things that we look at in Guyana and we look at overseas is services that are being offered to the people. I remember going to Trinidad. Was it this year or last year? I went there for a day, and when I went there, I applied for an international driver's license. I went there. Also, you from Guyana, and we paid some money, of course. And I got an international driver's license. I presented my Guyanese passport and my driver's license and some pictures and so on, and it worked like a breeze. We got it within an hour. We were in there, four of us got through, out of there, went and had some lunch, and we jump on a plane and come back to Guyana. This happened, I think, either this year or last year. It gives you the idea. So why can't we have something like that in Guyana? So it is things that you wish for when you talk about services in Guyana. These are things that you wish for. Do we have another call in line? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You in the air? Okay, we would have missed that. Let's go back to what we are coming to. It seems like some sort of sabotage going on in all these government agencies since the new government took over. Why there's so many issues all of a sudden? I don't think it's so much of that. I think what people are doing now is start realizing that things that are what is important to them that they would have taken for granted, poor services at government agencies and so on. I must tell you that the passport office has improved significantly. I like what I'm seeing there. I love the initiative that we would have branched off to other areas as well. But I think it's more that people are becoming very much aware of what it is that is affecting them, and they're becoming a little more sensitized and aware, and they want to get fast action, which is a good thing. There's an awakening in us. Let us awaken ourselves because this is the Wake Up Guyana show. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie. Go right ahead. There's another call in the air. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Is this Gildarie?
Yes, it is. You on air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon. So here what happened. I see this TV program that we have going on here for the school children. It's a connection of the slow learners children. Prime time you the teach the explaining. You're not writing at the same time because you listen to the explanation. So by the time you finish the start to write now, it's automatically on to another question. So that question gone. And when you're a slow learner, it's very hard for you to pick it up. That's one of the disadvantages of the TV program.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is not everybody have access to a device and internet now,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, I'm
Now,
on. I'm on with Priya Chan. I'm sending her a message right now, Minister Priya Chan and the Minister of Education, about the speed. A lot of people would have complained. I did send it to a couple of other officials, and I'm sending the complaint to her now because you're not the first one complaining about the speed in which the teacher talks, and that there's no way that you could go back. And somebody was complaining. If a teacher who's a mom complained about some of the attitude of some of the teacher, and I don't think it's so much of attitude. I think that people don't really understand some of the things that they're doing, that the kids, it's not a normal classroom, so you got to change up your system.
and it's very hard for
Yes.
go to it right now, straight into it. You didn't get a training or nothing, straight into it.
Uh-huh.
And the other thing is that right now you've been moving about and you see kids on the road.
Uh-huh.
You see kids in the markets, in the supermarket. You see kids on the road regularly, right? Even though it's a pandemic, we only kids on the road regularly. Well, we should open school like one subject for a day for the kids because right now lesson going on at some private teachers. One in Lagrange is $500 per subject for 2 hours. I have three kids. Gotta go to that lesson 6,000 hours a week. That's very hard.
Um, I don't know what to say there because let me tell you something. I think for the pandemic situation, they have to. I think what it did is they say, let us try this out and see how it goes. But I think they have to come back within a month or so and relook at it. Somebody has to give them a report and relook at it and see whether it's been working well. But based on what we see now, it's obvious a lot of kids are slipping through the cracks.
Exactly. So the children leave the television and go and do their own thing, especially parents working.
Yes, yes.
You
It's,
understand?
it's a very difficult thing, but the alternative to that is putting them back in the classroom. And let me tell you,
Put
thing,
them
that's
back
not an
into the
alternative.
class.
That's not an alternative at all right now. This situation is bad.
I know what you're saying,
We're gonna
but
end up with a couple of kids in coffins, and that's not something that I wanted to even contemplate.
well, somehow or the other, right? We have to get these kids Ella, they do back the whole work that they finish doing already to revise it back and keep their brain function on that part or something. Because as the brain lays up, you know what happened there.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
fall asleep.
I think, and one other thing, and I think we have one of the persons who's listening and looking here, RNJJ, and that person's recommending that, and it's something that we know, our parents, because this is desperate times. We have to really look into ways how we could, go the extra mile with our kids. And I know parents have been doing tremendously, they've been doing a tremendous job in even tolerating what would have transpired this last couple months. I know it's we still struggling to make a living, so the challenges are very real. But we got to go that extra mile for them because the alternative of not doing that is just it's just too terrible to think.
I know what you're saying. Because right now, I got me on, I selling on the road, and I got me on with a grade 4 book,
Uh,
doing back a grade 4 work. Even if he is in farm 1, but I'm especially bringing back on grade 4.
No, it's a good thing because I'm going to tell you a story maybe after you hang up there about what happened to my little daughter there, which is something that we got to do. But we got to consistently, we can't drop the ball. This thing here is ongoing. This pandemic, it ain't going to go away for just now. So our entire way of life, the way that we do schooling, the way that we govern, the way that we manage, everything has to be different until maybe, God bless, that we get over it. And we have to get over it, or else this thing, our economy and everything, the demands, everything is going to be damaged. But it is something you have to keep it
One
up.
more thing, sir. One more thing.
Uh-huh.
Minister is printing some papers so distribute to the children. Then we have these school buses can pick these kids up without interacting with anybody else and take them to collect the stuff and let teachers overlook at them one time and those kind of things. You know, we got to do something.
Yes, it is. It is. I'm not sure. Did you get any workbook or anything from the teachers yet?
Nothing. Not since March. Not even a connection with no teachers yet. I'm
I
trying to
know
get
they. I
the
think
ATM.
they're busy. They're busy printing out those work materials now, and I think they. I think they should have waited, but I think. I think
Just
they.
get in contact with the teacher.
And what the teacher's saying.
Okay then. You take care. Have a blessed day. Keep on doing good work.
Thank you, dear ma'am. Thank you very much, dear. And so we have to, as a parent, and it's good to hear from that lady there that she's while she's earning a living, she has her kids and she has her kid there with his workbook or her workbook there. You have to consistently be behind your kids to make sure that they don't, be disciplined about it. My little daughter, I think after yesterday, she did very well. Congratulations, little baby. She she got second in our school, and she got I think bishops. She missed QC, my old school, by 2 marks, and she was happy. But when her brother called because they were on the road, and her brother called and told his mom, she got another school, a lower school, and she started crying. This is a girl who don't normally cry. Was eating her food, closed up the food bowl and whatever, and she started crying. And then he called back a little later and says, I was pranking you. You got bishops, and she was all happy. But this morning she woke up and she says she's going back and look at her 2 years ago lessons and so open her books and go through them because she need to get herself familiar because when school is going to be reopened in whatever format it is. She wants to be ready and not be left behind or going through stuff that she should have known, and she's just brushing up on them, and that's what we need to do. While school has not been reopened, we have to have the kids go through the old lessons and so on, brush themselves up. It is part of the, you know, let us just don't drop the ball. We have to find ways and keep the ball rolling. That's what we have to do. So while we might not see school open, or while we might not have anything happening, the kids would have the old school books, the old workbooks. Let them go through it. You got to be on top of them. You're going to be doing some yelling. You're going to be doing some scolding. You're going to be doing some threats to the kids. Well, you have different way of managing. Sometimes I just raise my voice and says, "What's going on here?" And they get the drift of it. They have to get the act together with regards to, you know, there's a time to play and there's a time to get serious with books. So we have to all play a role, and whatever role that we were playing before March the 2nd, before March when this pandemic and the measures that would have come, um, you have to pretend that you're going to do double of that now, and it's going to take a toll on us as parents. But because of the situation, we have no alternative. We have to make sure that we do whatever is the correct thing. We pull out all the stops to ensure that our kids benefit. They are the important ones. Um, Somebody's asking, what is the number to call you on your live, please? It's 226-7453, 226-7453. I'm on the air every single day, Monday to Friday. Saturdays and Sundays, no. I have a lot of work to do. Still, I'm a reporter. I still work in the newsroom. So when I'm finished here, I'm getting down there. So it's 226-7453 there. So let me see some other one. Good afternoon, sir. A dispatcher at a taxi base took over $100,000 from a driver and promised to give them $35,000 in 4 days. It's now over 8 days and we have not received our money. We back was told that we can't get back our money. I'm not sure. Is this a Ponzi scheme that you're talking about here, person? If you guys are involved and and has given somebody monies, do not give anybody your money and then they promise to give you so much money. That's nonsense. That's a Ponzi scheme. Good afternoon, my friend. My friend's son right common entrance and he got 3 cent mark and they say he passed to go to BV community. Do you know this mark work for the common entrance? No, I have absolutely no idea. I'm gonna have to find out. I think there's some cut off community schools and so on. I got to get that formula. I'm gonna try to read it back to you guys. Good afternoon, everyone there. Please. Okay, thank you very much from that person there. Good day to you. A lot of good days. Everybody is saying good day to everybody here. Before we go back to the line, let me see if there's some other persons. Good afternoon, Leonard. I listen to you every day. I have a family of four. My 2 children since COVID-19. They haven't been able to school because I have to send them back home from work every 6 months. Now my TV is broken. I can't get the learning. How can you help me in some way? Um, okay, let me see. 64122. All right. I hear you there. I'm gonna get someone to contact you there. Let's see if we can do anything. Do we have another call in line? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Go right ahead.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Not bad. There's a small village in New Amsterdam,
Uh huh.
about 5 miles out of New Amsterdam, called Sanford Village.
Was it
Sanford.
Sanford?
Yeah, that's West Kanji.
Yes, sir.
My brother, for the 9 months now, those people phone not working. And the thing is when the bill come, please pay your rental. The phone not working now, but please pay your rent. 9 months now, buddy, and a lot of people in New Amsterdam with the same problem. The telecoms tell you, but cable and cable and cable.
PUC. You need to get on the PUC right away and make a complaint because if GT&T is not doing it, you need to make a complaint to that.
My brother,
What is it?
there's another story by itself.
Aye.
Now, they say who feels it knows it. At
Uh-huh.
Brighton on the quarantine, there's a mother crying for her return of her daughter, for her return of her 13-year-old daughter. The daughter probably gone away. It's alleged that she gone away with some sergeant's son, some police sergeant's son. Oh my gosh. I have an opinion. If the sergeant's son gone with this girl, the sergeant should be dismissed. Some disciplinary action should take against him. And when they find the girl, send her to girls' school.
Uh-huh.
You got to do something. This thing happened too long. Police there in a house and a lot of slackness going on. You going to tell me he ain't know what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say who feels it knows it, buddy. That is why I don't want to say suicide can't done. Thank you, buddy.
God bless you. God bless you there. So I want to say congratulations. I haven't gotten the details yet from the schools. Let me see if I pull up everything here. Children, let me see, leader. All right. I haven't gotten it, but I want to say congratulations to all the students who would have done well at the CSEC examinations. I know the results are out today, and they would have come hours after the grade 6 exams would have come out. Regardless how you would have done, I want to say congratulations. We are all winners in this, and maybe there's another opportunity. There are always other opportunity for us to pick up ourselves, and we're all winners. So let's congratulate. There's no somebody who's a little better, the 1% or the 2%. I would have seen that. We all have done well, and so there's another opportunity for you to pick yourself up and to even do it better than the last time. So that's how you look at it. How is the glass? Is it half full or half empty? Some people are going to tell you different things. So we have to continuously engage our children, continuously encourage them, and tell them that you've done well, baby. We're going to do better the next time. That's how we have to do it. Have a very positive attitude, have a very positive energy there. And I think Raj is going to kill me there. So, Raj, how you doing? You haven't been talking a lot to the people, telling them anything about what is happening in Hindi or anything. You got to be a little engaging. You're teaching me to do a couple of things, and you also have to teach the people of Guyana too. Tell them a little about when you expect to go back in India, about some of the food that you could probably introduce to Guyana. Raj is all the way from India, and he's doing an excellent job there with the controls, very much on time, very disciplined with his work ethics and so on. A better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. at 121 Regenton Arnock Street to better serve you. You can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company Inc. And so, in the meantime, dear, I want to say we have a couple minutes more, and we want to ensure that we get those calls in. Let me just make sure that we haven't missed any of. Okay, and okay, so some people here asking for iPads, and so we've asked, and we are getting ready to bring some, and so you guys just be around there. I didn't see anything on that today. A lot of people have been calling. Good day, I enjoy a program in my workshop. I think this person have a furniture shop. A good day to that furniture shop there in Coven John. They're tuned in, they're linked up with us here. Good day. Do we still have to wait on an announcement from the Ministry of Education for kids who did not write common entrance? Or should we go to their office? Don't we have to get a document from the Ministry of School for the school in the area the kids will be going? Thank you for your input. Well, they have not made an announcement as yet. I think in a very short while they're going to do that. As soon as we get that, but are we going to ensure that we raise this issue with them to make sure that it comes out in the form? They would have to tell us. There's a number of kids, if you're not familiar with what this person is talking about, there's a number of kids whose parents didn't want to take the chance for them to write the common entrance or the grade 6 exams as we know it, and of course some other exams. And it says that if you did not write it, we're going to see some placement exam and put you in a school within your area until such time that maybe you could write an assessment, and maybe we could put you in a school that we believe that you have been assessed for. They have not spoken about that. I think it's a little too early in the game. Let's see what happens. Do we have another call, Raj? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Gildarie, please.
Yes, sir. You're on the air.
Yes. Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Yes, it is. Go right ahead, sir.
Yes, this is concerning the aisle. Now, if we go back a slight history and then fast forward, now in Burnham time, he had given concession to a Canadian mining exploration company. Now, when he gave this, fast forward in it, they did the necessary things and it was complete. Now, they decided they give a report that we have oil but not in commercial quantities. Now, the point is that at the time we had a function and I told one of the geologists I don't believe it. And he smiled. He said, why? I said, because according to physics, if you have X amount of pressure within certain thing, it must give out one time. Now, various parts of Guyana, they were oil when persons digging for something, it was flushing out. Now, in Georgetown here, we had oil was gushing out in somebody land. Now, Burnham, we don't know how long this person had it, but when Burnham found out, he plugged it. So I told the person, I said, if you don't have so much oil, how come this is showing such pressure? He smiled. He said, I will tell you something in confidence. You do have oil in commercial quantities, but what happened? These oil magnates would play it down and say you don't have because they would keep you as a reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Because in case of any eventuality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happened is that these oil companies, we didn't know as at that time, this particular oil company was a prospecting, right? Prospecting. They didn't want to do a business in oil, but they told Burnham they wanted to, and they just did a prospecting. Now, for them to do this, you must have financiers.
Mm.
So these oil magnates would finance these companies, the exploration companies,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not looking forward for a profit because they know it's
Yes,
what do you
right,
call
right.
it?
It's in exploration mode right now. It's not
Right.
production, right?
Good. Now what happened there now is this: when the oil company, when the rigging company finish the operation and go back to where they're supposed to be, they will be giving each investor, these oil magnates that invest, they will give them the report, the sociological report plus the geological report with the entire geological plan with the numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they did that, when they know they before they come and do any investment in your country, they do research, sociological, so on. They know Bonham won't last long. Now the thing is, they wait for the right time. Then they spoke to Janet, President Janet. Then President Janet gave them some concession, but they waited until they get the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Now when they get the right persons, then they decided
To do that, well,
to do the business.
well, I hear you there. I hear you
Now the
there.
point is
Uh-huh.
this: if you were going to be doing business, signing a contract for this oil, you're supposed to be signing this contract within the country, not out of the country. It's like if you're going to beg these people, you're going into their country to sign a contract. Now, when the former president said he didn't remember at one time, he said he didn't see the contract, the
Mm-hmm.
oil contract. Good.
Mm-hmm.
We know he's not honest to the fullest, but this particular point he was telling the truth. Because when this minister, let us say that I'm the minister, when the resource minister, go there to sign a contract, I suppose they left a specimen of the agreement with the president. He should know what it is. Now, when I went there to sign this contract, it wasn't that contract. So when he said he didn't see it, it was true because he's not a signatory of this contract. Now, for any minister, there is a problem, and there is the cause of the problem. Now, here's the solution. Any minister,
Mm-hmm.
assuming the executive authority, right, of the president, to sign a contract, a resource of the contract at this magnitude, it means, therefore, you exceed your authority. Only the president is supposed to be
Well, I'm not sure
signatory to
because they
that.
sat down in cabinet and ratified that. I understand. So we're not sure. We got to look into it. Only
Yeah,
a
but
lawyer could
here,
probably tell us that.
if the minister should assume such authority, there is treason. Plus, that agreement is non and void.
I hear you. I hear you with that. And so bottom line is, there's a lot of things that went wrong with this entire oil thing,
Yeah,
and
so
and we need to
why
fix
are
it.
they honoring it?
Why are they honoring it? Well, we have production that start, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. You just can't
Yes,
eject them. There's
but
international norms
we
and so on.
we have the authority. We can't show weakness. We have the authority to renegotiate,
Hmm.
right? You negotiate and you don't accept less than 47% plus tax.
I
The
hear what you're
reason
saying.
being because whenever they leave, right,
Hmm.
they leave a lot of mess.
Hmm.
And when they said that we have X amount of time for this oil to expire, these people have money to invest in technology to do rapid extraction.
Hmm.
So it would finish before that time.
Hmm.
So what do you think would happen with us when they leave?
I hear you very, very clear,
The
sir. And
environmental
yeah,
problem.
right, right. All right, so we coming on to the thing. But I hear what you're saying, and I think you're right on the ball with some of the thinkings that you have there.
Yeah, but here is the thing: you have lawyers, international lawyers, that had bisect this agreement, and they see all the clause within the faults within it.
Right, right.
So if Guyana should consult with them, they would see the ways in which they could force Exxon or Ratsan
Uh-huh.
to renegotiate.
Right, right,
Right?
right. I hear you.
I would like to make more contribution, but time wouldn't allow
Yes, I hear you.
because
We'll keep
there's many
calling,
other
man.
things.
Right, right. Many things. And I thank you for keeping in touch with this. It's a very important issue.
Yes. So the point is this: is the minister at fault? He doesn't have the authority of the president. Only the president got the executive power to sign away such a magnitude.
Got
Right?
you. God bless you,
So
my brother.
thank you very much.
Yes.
All right.
So as we come down, and so very good point there by the caller, and it's very good that we get ourselves familiar with the situations in this country here, where the deals is happening, because at the end of the day, it is those deals that is going to put money, it's going to put revenues in our pocket, and if we don't get a better deal, if we can't improve on what we have right now, well, then we in the wrong business. We should get our authorities, our leadership, when they said that they wanted us they wanted to go into office, they would have been telling us that we're here to represent you, we're here to ensure that you get a better life, and the only way to do that is to ensure that you maximize on our earnings, that we improve on it, we increase it, and we find innovative ways without putting more pressure on the people, overtaxing them, or any other thing along those lines. So as we come back, as we come down to program time, I want to say a good day to everybody who would have been joining us. It's been a very good day to us. It's been let me see, yesterday. Hi, sir. Yesterday, me and my grandmother went to pay GT&T bill at BV, at the GT&T office, and they get everyone waiting outside, standing in the hot sun, not even a shelter for the old people. And this is something, when I look at this, it gets me very, very upset that we don't understand customer service for our people. Um, let me see, one thing else. Okay, good afternoon. I heard about the mother issue with the children and lessons. I had to message you some weeks about my children in CXP classes, and it's only lesson work they were receiving. Now they are introducing school teaching. Yeah, it is something. This thing is really affecting. It's really getting a lot of families very upset. Parents, moms are very, very concerned. So, wherever you're joining us from, this has been the Wake Up Show. It has been the Wake Up Guyana Show right here on Kaieteur Radio. I'm your host, Leonard Gildarie. You could look back at this show here, right here on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio YouTube live stream on YouTube. And of course, we would have been coming to you right across this beautiful land on 99.1 and 99.5. And that's if you're in Berbice, 99.5, and 99.1 in Demerara and Esquibo. And a good day to all the minibus and the taxis and the hire car drivers out there, and the conductors and everybody, and the vendors down at Stabrook and the rest of the markets right across Guyana. Wherever you are, we know that everybody is working hard and they want to do the good thing. They want to benefit. They want to have a good life. Let us not sit back and sit on our hands. You all each have a role to play. We have to ensure that we open those mouths. Let us do that. As citizens, you have many rights, and one of the rights that you have is that you could be able to tell the persons that you elect, whether it's in the NDC or in the office there. There are many ways that you could do it. You could visit the NDC office, or you could write letters in the newspaper. You could write a letter to the president. You could write a letter to a minister. You could go on Facebook. You could go on YouTube. Wherever it is that you could send messages in so many ways to our authorities and says, I want you to look into this. You could call in to Kaieteur Radio here, right on Wake Up Guyana, and so we could wake up ourselves and smell the coffee, because it is time for you to live a better life, a good life. And the only way you could do that is by demanding so. So thank you guys for joining us wherever you're from. This has been your edition of the Wake Up Guyana Show. We are going to be back same place, same time tomorrow, right on Kaieteur Radio. So thank you very much, my boy at the control. I want to say good day to Chanelal, her birthday celebrations today. I'm going to be heading downstairs now, and we're going to see what happens there. Have a pleasant rest of the day, folks.